A face in the crowd, getting knocked down. Face in the crowd. All right, what do we got here? Command A, Command C, and then Command V. Up. Cool. I'll just let these people know that we're doing an editing stream. It's important. Let's see. Live flash fiction soon to now at 8 p.m. yesterday. I had to put some time in and change up my. Maybe I'll do that today. I'll just tell those lads that I'm editing, and let's not bother. Not math today. Let me see. Writing on the fly or scroll. So here, Dwayne, I think we are editing. Oh, I've got to spam this one more place. In my own chat. Let's see. Let's see. Well, I might get Void Monk up in here, which would be rad. All right, what do we got there? Have a good edit, my friend. I'm going to bed, but I'll leave you on the computer to add your view count. Oh, that's sweet, Jared. I really don't need view counts in the morning, so you don't have to waste your electrons on me. Although I do appreciate the good sentiment more than anything. It's the thought that counts. All right, well, we are at, it's early in the morning. It's 4:46 a.m. on a Sunday, and I could not sleep. I woke up at 3:30. Although I went to bed at 8, so it was my own fault there. But ooh, boy. Had a pretty good day yesterday. Really good progress on the story so far. And I also believe that I know which story I'm going to submit to Uncanny. It may not get picked up because it's not science fiction enough. It is a story that we edited a little bit ago called The Varanasi Nazarene. And it's about a pickpocket and a priest who fall in love. And this story, which we're about to edit, is called Three Wolf. This is the live edit of it that I have right here. Shout out to everybody from JRE and LRH and all these various outlets that funnel into this chat. But yeah, I'm still in the process of waking up here, but we've been editing this one for about a week. And, you know, if we really worked on it, we could probably get it done today, but probably we'll get it done tomorrow, if I'm going to be completely honest there. So it's been fun so far. If you're just seeing this for the first time, go back to the first episode of this. I'll make it into a playlist on YouTube, and you can see the whole arduous process, all the strife and struggle and self-doubt and recrimination and ejaculation, everything else that's happened over the course of this fun-filled edit. But for now, because it's so early in the morning, I think most of our regulars are not going to be here, so it's just going to be me editing in silence. And then after this, I think I'm going to go back to rewriting Rapasaurus. And with Rapasaurus, like when I'm deep in a rewrite, I basically don't even need to pay attention to the chat, so I will only be streaming it to kind of keep myself accountable. So it's weird how productivity works. Like all the novels that I've gotten done that are like really long, with the exception of Zeros, because it was written during the pandemic. All the novels that I have were written at coffee shops, and they were written at coffee shops because I could look around and see other people around me working, and I was like, I'm gonna work harder than these people, you know. Like when they're getting up and antsy and restless and peering at their cell phone and Instagramming their croissant and whatever, I'm still gonna be working, and I'll bury these people. And I did. I finished a 800-page novel, just sitting there in that coffee shop. And then we edited it on stream. It's called Gravid. It's pretty good. I'm going to try to sell it to white women. But so I don't really have that when I'm sitting at my house, and there are no coffee places near me that are open at like 4 in the morning, where I'm just perpetually waking up. I can't seem to fix that cycle. So now I'm just going to let the internet be my accountability and kind of stream into the void this long and arduous rewrite that is it's probably going to take another year to finish rewriting Rapasaurus. So, but I've just been slow. There are some days where I get like one paragraph done in it, and I'll sit there for like 2 hours to get that one paragraph, and then just go jack off and play video games. So this is unacceptable to me. I want to get this story done. I have other books that I want to write that are more engaging and daring and thrilling. So, yeah. Anyhow, I guess I'm just saying thank you to the people who tune into this thing. I know some people even watch the replays. So if you're one of those people, God bless you. Lord knows I wouldn't do it. I'm so sick of myself. Um, but it is super helpful to have some kind of an audience to me. I don't like uh, what is it? The Jean Paul Sartre. When I am alone, I am undone. Or Sartre or whatever. Ugh. Anyhow, let's begin. So this is chapter 8, and I believe that there are only 10 chapters in this guy. So we just have 2 or 3 more to go. And this is the climactic chapter, the genesis of everything. The story thus far is essentially a troop of 7 men, led by a guy named Flinzer, went to the wilderness of northernmost Jarl East, or something along that line. They went to Skywark Keep in search of a legendary bounty on Three Wolf. And, oh Lord, yeah, my mind. I got to get my mind right. All right, let's focus here. So they went there in search of a bounty on a legendary figure called Three Wolf, a bounty of 100 golden ducats. And they dickered on a drawbridge with the landlord, a man called Old Man Moraine, and were rudely rebuffed, but persisted in the bounty. Upon trying to track down Three Wolf, they were attacked by a gigantic murder of crows and spent weeks tracking him down, only to find nothing whatsoever. But at last, here, they are on the trail of Three Wolf. Three Wolf has slipped up and left behind a haversack, and the boys are now headed northward on his trail. So, highly interesting. So this is a scene where literally after about a week of going after this guy, they finally have a sign that they might be on the right trail, and they are very enthused about it. God bless you, coffee. I would be dead and in hell without coffee, really and truly. All right, so chapter 8. Would you look at that? Start again. Chapter 8. Would you look at that? Here comes the sun. Flinzer motioned a halt, and they all looked up. Some mad artist slashed through the canvas of clouds. Light poured through and illustrated the horizon in strokes of gold. Breathless, Flinzer watched the land. Breathless, Flinzer watched the land revealed in a brilliant band, like the eyes of a veiled woman. Sunshine shone through emerald pines and set rust. So rust orange. I just want one more word there. Sunshine shone through tall emerald pines and set rust orange bluffs of that's why. Sunshine shone through tall emerald pines. We can't really alliterate that. And set rust orange. Okay, so we can't put in rust. Yeah. Okay. It's a bummer. So rust has to come out of there just because of the way the sentence flows. Sunshine shone through emerald pines and set orange bluffs ablaze. It turned the river ice to molten tin and forged the snowbound peaks of the horizon into a line of silver spears. The 7 men solemnly beheld the savage land, fully in the moment. They were alive. But for how long? Flinzer pushed back at the nagging thought and enjoyed the rapture. Too soon the clouds closed over, and the land seemed so much more desolate for the light it had lost. This is pretty purple right here. It's like it's like some Wuthering Heights type shit. um, so were this at the beginning of the book, it would be beyond insufferable. But this is kind of the payoff, right? I want to remind the readers that they're in a beautiful place. Um, and because they know that they're headed towards the climax, they're near finding this guy and so forth, their thoughts are flitting towards their own mortality. So that I could deal with. Too stung to speak, this high. Man, I cannot talk at all this morning. Wake up. Too stung to speak, the hunters silently snaked down the rusty bluffs towards the riverbank below. Midway down, the ground broke beneath buttocks. Quick thinking Went grabbed the handle of the axe bound to his back. Yeah. As he fell, quick thinking Went grabbed the handle of the axe bound to his back. Flinzer and Stripes caught Went, and together the three of them pulled the big man back from the brink. His face went white as ice. Yeah, I can't tell if the writing is awkward or my reading is awkward. Um, let's do this number right here. Too stung to speak, the hunters silently snaked down the rusty bluffs to the riverbank below. Midway down, the ground broke beneath buttocks. As he fell, quick thinking Went grabbed the handle of the axe bound to his back. Flinzer and Stripes caught Went, and together the three of them pulled the big man back from the brink. His face went white as ice. It was just the reading was slow, not the Hate heights, Buttocks griped. He clasped Went's forearms in thanks and bowed his brow. Oh. What's this gesture? What would he actually do? So he like grabs Went and is like, "Thank you." Yeah, that works okay for me. It just was like a little clumsy clockward or whatever. It's clumsy plus awkward, clockward. Mm-hmm. Doubly cautious, they picked a path down the frozen banks of Whitebite Run. Buttocks took some heavy steps onto the ice. Took us some heavy steps. Oh, he's suddenly Italian. Buttocks took us some steps onto the heavy ice. It was as solid as a stone. uh, mm-hmm. Think she'll hold us? Cocker squinted across the course. The narrow. Okay, cool. Doubly cautious, they picked a path down to the banks of Whitebite Run. Buttocks took a few steps onto the frozen river. It was solid as stone. Think she'll hold us? Cocker squinted across the course. Okay, so we're just tuning up the paragraph a little, making some of the language like a little bit more definite here. Think she'll hold us? Cocker squinted across the course. White Bite Run was 100. So also I don't have. Let's look into this because I don't know. You always start a new paragraph when somebody speaks and you're writing. Okay, I do try to do that. Break paragraphs with dialogue. Formatting dialogue. When do you need a new line? When the speaker changes. When do you need a new line? If the character speaking, there's a dog behind your truck. Driver is addressing the dog. Warrants a new paragraph. Blah, blah, blah. Boring. Yeah, this is not. Grammar is not the end of the world, says Graham-again. What I want is to know. Let's take a look at the dialogue do's and. Oh my god. From daily writing trips. Quotation marks. Blah, 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 blah. Don't go too crazy with the dialogue tags. I do that all the time. Never use dialogue to tell readers things the characters already know. Huh. That's fair. Don't use too much dialogue. Don't be too realistic. Blah, 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 blah. Nah. All right, I don't know the rule. But I'm just going to go with my gut feeling here, which is... it doesn't feel right. Yeah, okay. So I don't think I need a new paragraph there. Think she'll hold us? Cocker squinted across the course. White Bite Run was 150 paces across at its narrowest. I don't think we need Point. Point is doing no work whatsoever in this story. Near the median, toothy jags of stone broke through the ice. There were rapids beneath. I sure hope so. Bloodax rubbed the back of his head. Like as not, the big man would be the one to go under. Flinzer cockeyed the crossing and scowled up at the ground. Oh shit, it's George Washington. What a blast from the past right there. All right, George Washington, when last we talked with you, I believe you were under arrest for breaking into a vending machine at the train station. Previous to that, you had aspired to be a drug dealer, and then at some point you were an automobile mechanic. What has befallen you since all that? 'Cause it's been several months. Oh, hopefully good news. Let's see. It was full of electronics. Yeah, I know. And you got caught because you went back because you were greedy. Is how I recall it. I'm good now. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, I mean, who can resist ripping off a vending machine? I don't blame you. Got an auto body repair business, etc. Oh shit. Yeah, I used to do like a little bit of like Bondo work and stuff like that. I had a bike, no car, Lamau. We should have just stolen a car at the time. Gonna steal big. But yeah, I may need your help eventually. We're gonna buy a van to do LRH and travel cross country. I paint car panels. Wait, do you do you have to wear like the full body suit so you don't get like sensitivity to cyanacetates? Because I have to wear like an active respirator when I'm doing my painting upstairs, and I really should be wearing like a full body suit and gloves and everything. Got no criminal record, even after ripping off the vending machines. Nice. Australia is a paradise for criminals. Yeah, you got 3M everything. Yeah, I used their air filters for a long time, but I had to swap to like an active respirator eventually because just like the like cartridge respirators, they were not cutting it for the painting I was doing. I would always have like a headache at the end of it. And I probably poisoned the ever living shit out of myself. But Rob bought me an active respirator, so I use that now. It rules. Although then I got lazy and I'm just spray painting without turning it on, like an asshole. Ugh. Anyhow. I had good news today. I thought I had blown out my laser cutter tube because I accidentally didn't switch on the water pump. And the fucking the cooling ring snapped off the head of the laser, and I thought it was done for. But I just fixed it with epoxy and did a test burn this morning, and it worked fine. So guide coat powder, abrasive clay bar, a bushing machine, 270 per liter minute air compressor. Yeah, I've got an air compressor also for the painting that I do. It's old now, but it's just like, I think it's like a 9-gallon air compressor. So 9 gallons, let me convert that to loony units. I want to say it's about maybe 27 to 30 liters. Probably 30 liters. Drain. Oh, I always drain the tank because they'll fucking rust up and then the thing explodes and then you get shrapnel and blah 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 blah. But yeah, I like painting in general. Like I could be happy just like powder coating shit, or my real dream is to move out of this fucking city and to just have like a big ass garage full of welding machines and paint machines and just make goofy shit all day long and stream it onto the internet. Working in my underwear as I do. Usually it's not even underwear, to tell you the truth. I'm letting it all hang out. But I think YouTube would have problems with it. But I learned from Paint Society Brian. Nice. All right. Well, I got to get back to writing this whole thing. But yeah, I would actually really like to, if I had like a decent paint sprayer set up there and a sandblaster and that kind of shit there, because like I do a lot of I don't have anything like ready at hand, but I do like a lot of weird graffiti where I put it up on poles with magnets and stuff, and just being able to get like a car like mirror finish on some shit would be cool. I like to do some that had that what's the name for it, the iridescent paint where it changes colors as you're going. I'm working now with putting some LEDs in some of them, and that are hooked to solar panels. Anyhow, I got to get to this story. I want to finish it today, and this is a long chapter. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing better and that you were alive, and hopefully your experiences on the ZYZ editing stream steered you away from a ruinous life of crime and towards being a productive citizen, slowly poisoning yourself with industrial solvents. All right. Flinzer cockeyed the crossing and scowled up at the gray shroud that stole over. Oh, I don't need that. Yeah. Yeah. Flinzer cockeyed the crossing and scowled up at the shrouded sky. On the opposite shore. Opposite shore? I usually can talk. But not today. All right. Flinzer cockeyed the crossing and scowled up at the shrouded sky. On the opposite shore, the ground rose in an orange ridge. Here we can do red-orange. On the opposite shore, the ground rose in a yeah, and then we can't use "and." On the opposite shore, the ground rose in a red-orange ridge. The peak was furred with lines of green-white aspen. He felt a twinge of yeah. Flinzer felt a twinge of premonition. Was it disaster on the wind or cowardice creeping in? We need a comma before the or. Boom. See, you could be collecting some points here, George Washington, if you knew that we needed a comma there. Hope's not enough. She's solid here, but the ice will thin towards the Thalweg. So a Thalweg, if you did not know, is usually the middle of a river, and I believe that is either Finnish or Norwegian. Okay. Thalweg, a line connecting the lowest points of successive cross sections of a river. What is a Thalweg of a river? A line joined to drawn. Yeah, it's the lowest points. And in a river, like it's not like a straight shot, like a pipe or whatever. So we can see here, the Thalweg is just like the deepest part of the river. So technically correct. Let's find the origin of that word. All right. Where did it come from? From German, Thalweg, valley way, and then line that connects to the lowest points. Thalweg is consistent with the German spelling reform, wherever Oxford English. Okay, so it was pulled from German, and then Portuguese. What is it in that? Telvegu. Dated, and it's just borrowed for Talweg. Okay. So the Germans have a word for it. All you need to know. Let me see. Maybe most people are too retarded to understand Thalweg, the general population. Well, I didn't. I knew it meant like the middle of a river, but it has like a more technical term where it is just if you look at a river in a cross section. So it's not just like the median of the river, the space between two. The deepest part isn't necessarily like halfway across. So it is just like basically you imagine like the deepest part is like a valley that may like go like whoa snake all over the river and so forth. And so it's just if you're looking at a cross section, the Thalweg is wherever the deepest part is, which is kind of cool to me. I like the idea of visualizing the river in 3D. I know a guy who his whole job is just to go to rivers and like float down them and drink beer and like survey the rivers and like check out the populations of the animals there and like theorize on what's happening and so forth. And like this is a great job. He just like gets to hang out on rivers all the time and get drunk, but also like a heartbreaking job because you can see like how fucked up the ecosystem is getting in all corners there. Like just everywhere where wild things live in the United States is it's suffering. Yeah, just like all the runoff and the algae and the acid rain and the whites bathing upstream and their chalky skin flaking off and poisoning everything. No, it's not. It's not quite as bad as all that. I mean, nature will rebound in most cases there, but yeah, there's like a lot of crazy stuff to go with our waterways. I like there's one stretch where the whole river is electrified to keep. It might be zebra mussels. It might be some kind of like invasive carp. I think it's an invasive like Asian carp or whatever. But they're trying to keep them out of the Great Lakes, and so they just have this whole stretch of river electrified. It's pretty gangsta. I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to learn to make butanol from algae, homemade petrol, basically. Oh, well, good. Good luck with that. It seems like you could really injure yourself trying to make your own petrol. Um, Here we go. Hope's not enough. She's solid here, but the ice will thin towards the Thalweg. Actually, hold on. How do I pronounce Thalweg?
Thalweg. Thalweg.
Thalweg.
Thalweg. Thalweg.
Okay. Well, I've got a key for it, so that's the British pronunciation. We're close enough. But the ice will thin towards the Thalweg. Here's what we do. All of you, go gather wood. Pile it up on the shore, big enough for a bonfire. Okay, and then here's what we do. All of you, go gather wood. Enough for a bonfire. That way, if a man goes in, we can warm him before he freezes. Nice. All right, let me see what's going on. Biodiesel project. What we got there? The ice will thin towards. Here's what we do. All of you, go gather wood. Enough for a bonfire. That way, if a man goes in, we can warm him before he freezes. The move was prudent. It might be death to get wet. Okay, so here is a comma splice. Ugh. No, I really don't like the look of that. Yeah, I do this a lot. I'll take two sentences. I wonder if that's the way that I talk, or if that's just something that only comes up in writing. Yeah. let somebody else deal with it. Even cocker. I mean, they're related clauses. I think you need a semicolon. Between independent clauses which are linked in meaning with a transitional word. I don't think we have our... No. Yeah, we don't have next similarly. Two independent clauses without using a coordinate. That's what we're not using. We're not using the coordinating conjunction. Cool. Stronger than a comma, but not quite as... Sounds pretty cunning to us. All right. Yeah, all right. So let's just use a fucking semicolon there. All right, so essentially, the move was prudent. It might be death to get wet. Yeah, those are both independent clauses. They can stand on their own, and therefore a comma cannot join them. We don't want to use... let me see. All right, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think it's taken me like 2 years to learn how that works out there. Even Cocker complied without complaint. The sound of Bloodux's heavy axe rang across the frozen river. Soon they'd built a sizable pile of firewood. Okay, and so this is just all stuff that I should have known in like the 5th grade, but I just didn't pay attention there. So, again, a comma splice where two independent clauses are joined by whatever, and then after a time word, you have to have a comma. Soon they built a sizable pile of firewood. Let me see. Do we call it firewood? Okay, yeah. We're going to send Went out first, Flinzer ordered. Oof, Went winced. The others grimaced in sympathy, but he was the smallest and lightest. With a shrug, he scampered out onto the ice. With a shrug, Went scampered out onto the ice. Hold up. Tie a line around his belt, comma, so we can drag him out if he goes under. Good idea, Flins, Went agreed. Might be the only one I've had all year. Take her easy as you can, Wentley. Take it easy as you can, Wentley. If she starts to crack up, call out right away. I like that. We'll yank you back. All right. And then we don't need a space here. We'll yank you back. See if you can't find a safe route. No, I don't like that. If we can't ford this fucker, we're going back to town. Okay, yeah. And so these are not, the first one is like a dependent clause on the second, which is an independent clause. Flinzer met the eyes of each man. All right. Flinzer met the eyes of each man in turn. They all returned a solemn nod. Everyone understood. If they turned back now, it was the end of the hunt, and the bounty was done. The idea of marching all those leagues to leave empty-handed sat ill with all of them. The idea of marching all those leagues to leave empty-handed sat ill with everybody. There was nothing left to do but pray the river was frozen. There was nothing left to do but pray the river was frozen through. With a catch in his throat, Flinzer watched Went plumb a path across the ice. The spry little man made his way to the middle, slow and deliberate as a crane on the hunt. The spry little man made his way to the middle, slow and deliberate as a crane on the hunt. Ives and Ames. Yeah. Ames and Ives. Oh, yeah. I'm probably going to have to go back to change that all to Ives and Ames. I don't know why it matters, but somehow it does. Ames and Ives held the rope and cheated out onto the ice, 10 paces apart to spread out their weight. Went made it over the median, then slid back in a tenth of the time. You were right. At the middle, she's only 2 or 3 inches at this. Okay. And so I had to actually go and do like a little bit of research on how thick ice could be before it was safe to go across. 2 or 3 inches is usually enough. But the ice is going to be like here cracked up a little bit by like rocks and water running under it. Like it's not a sure thing that they can make it across. You were right. At the middle, she's only 2 or 3 inches thick. Big old buttocks might be too much to bear. The hunters turned to the axeman. Buttocks clasped his hands over his barrel belly. By my gluttony undone. Sorry, boys. I won't drag you down. I can find my own way back to town. Buttocks offered. All right, let's do new paragraph. Flinzer gave him a hard look. Though he'd been flighty before, Buttocks did not want to go back alone. Though he'd been flighty before, Buttocks didn't want to slog back alone. I'm not for splitting up. We can haul your gear over first. Then, you lie flat and we'll drag you across. Fan out to spread your weight. Okay. The things men do for 100 ducats, Buttocks rued. The sun slipped lower as they set across. With each foggy breath, the temperature dropped a notch. Flinzer's stomach churned as he watched his men relay across White Bite Run. The ice popped and twanged, unhappy to have them on its back. Soon the sun was done, and they made their way by the scant moonlight. Ooh, liking it. When his turn came, Flinzer found he was frozen by fear. He tarried a touch too long and drew eyes. The questioning looks tipped the fulcrum. He'd rather drown than... When his turn came, When his turn came, Flinzer was frozen by fear. He tarried a touch too long and drew eyes. The questioning looks tipped the fulcrum. He found he'd rather drown than be shamed before his men. Flinzer shoved one foot in front of the other, out onto the ice. Wind howled down the pass and caught him unprotected. The ice was thinner than he'd thought. He could feel it shift underfoot. His fingertips throbbed under his gloves, and the ice grumbled beneath his boots. Flinzer flinched at every crackle. As he scraped across, Flinzer flinched at every crackle. To break through, be caught in that current. To break through, be caught in that current and trapped beneath the ice. Yeah, we need a Oxford comma. To break through, be caught in that current and trapped beneath the ice. That was true terror. Okay, and that is a M dash. That was true terror. Chilled to the core, Chilled to the core, Flinzer fumbled and slid to the opposite shore. It was all he could do from refrain. He could barely refrain from falling to his knees to kiss the frozen dirt. He expected jeers, at least from Cocker, but there we go. All right, so he makes it across this frozen river. Hell yeah. Chilled to the core, Flinzer fumbled and slid to the opposite shore. He could barely refrain from falling to his knees to kiss the frozen dirt. Flinzer expected jeers, at least from Cocker, but the other men were just as shaken. There we go. I don't know why in my mind, this is like a, and I should check through as we're writing the paragraph. In my mind, I'm thinking of this as like an east to, or west to east journey, but it is north to south. So I know when I was writing this, I had the orientation potentially wrong. So I should be on the lookout for like the sun setting at their backs and other whack shit that could mess this up. Let's see. La, da, 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 da. All right. Only Bloodaxe was left on the southern shore. Moonlight knifed through a crack in the clouds, and it all shone silver. Bloodaxe looked up and made the sign of the Wander Star. Flinzer had known the man for 12 years. Okay, so just doing a little clarity work here to just indicate that the object of, like, it's Flinzer doing the speaking, and it's clear already from the reading, but I don't want pronoun confusion in my stories, or even like pronoun suspicion. So only Bloodaxe was left on the southern shore. Moonlight knifed through a crack in the clouds, and it all shone silver. Bloodaxe looked up and made the sign of the Wander Star. Flinzer had known the man for 12 years. He'd never seen Bloodaxe so much as glance at a temple before. 100 ducats, indeed. All right, so this is, it is a direct thought, so it is italicized. They sent Went, Ives, and Ames. Oh, so here we're in. All right, so widely spaced is hyphenated because it is an, I guess like an adjectival phrase. And I wonder about widely spaced. Bloodaxe crept as far out as the ice could stomach him, then laid flat and starfished. So I think starfish should not be hyphenated. Let's see, because it's a verb. I guess it would be like a verbal phrase, but yeah, I think even though it's not doing whatever, I think it's blah, blah, blah. The rest of the troop set to the rope, and all right, they sent aim. They sent Ames, Ives, and went out with the rope, widely spaced. Blood Ice crept out as far as the ice could stomach him, then laid flat and starfished. Oh, so I think, unfortunately, you have to have two commas here. Then laid flat and starfished. The rest of the troop set to the rope and heaved against his considerable inertia. With each tug, Flinzer became more convinced it was all a mistake, and the Bloodaxe was about to break through. He held his breath. A howl broke the night. Flinzer's hand shot to his scabbard. He drew his sword as he spun. Flinzer's hand shot to his scabbard. He drew his sword as he spun towards the ridge. The howl was so loud he expected the wolf to be right on top of them. 100 paces up the rocky slope, a silver woods wolf stood among the aspen, outlined in low moonlight. Flinzer, Cocker, and Stripes stared up at it, stunned. It was the largest wolf any of them had ever seen. Okay. Shoot it, Flinzer hissed. All right, let's hold on. I'm not editing, I'm just reading. Flinzer's hand shot to his scabbard. He drew his sword as he spun. Flinzer's hand. Um. Let's see. Do we need both shot to his scabbard? And he drew his. Flinzer's hand shot to his scabbard, and he drew his sword as he spun towards the ridge. Flinzer's hand shot to his scabbard and drew his sword as he spun towards the ridge. We could just do Flinzer drew his sword. Flinzer drew. We don't need the S. Flinzer drew his sword as he spun towards the ridge. The howl was so loud he expected the wolf to be right on top of them. 100 paces up the rocky slope, a silver wolf stood among the aspen, outlined in low moonlight. Flinzer, Cocker, and Strike stared up at it, stunned. It was the largest wolf any of them had ever seen. Shoot it, Flinzer hissed. In a terrible hurry, he sheathed his sword and reached for his bow. Stripes had an arrow ready. He shot uphill. He shot uphill, but his arrow. He shot uphill, but his arrow fell short and snapped. I don't know if I need the butt. He shot uphill. His arrow fell short and snapped against a stone. All right, so here we go. I just don't like he shot uphill. Stripes already had an arrow ready and took the shot. His arrow fell short and snapped against a stone. Cocker's shot went wide. Flinzeraid aimed high and his shaft thudded. His shaft thudded into a trunk 3 feet above the wolf. Yellow eyes met his in a flash of contempt. Stripes had a second arrow out. Before he could loose, the wolf turned tail and retreated into the trees. All right, let's just have him disappear into the trees. Oh, and take a chat break to see what is happening here. All right. We got Big Dwayne. Shimmer and Perplexa are the early morning ones. Perplexa has an excuse because he's German and his girlfriend is frigid, as all Germans are. So, but the rest of us, we should really be working on something. What do we got here? That's going on there. Let's see. Who would go to Poland expecting femboys? That doesn't sound accurate there. Let me see. Let me go to the gear chat. All right, nothing's going on there. I keep getting summoned to this Fish Tank channel, but I just do not care about Fish Tank or any kind of reality television. Boring. All right. Nothing is happening in the chat, which means that, apparently George Washington is going to learn more about World War I and World War II. BRB next stream. All right, good luck with that. Yeah, it's early on a Sunday morning. It's just me out here. Oh, Hideki, Tojo, etc. What's my favorite part of World War II? I really like the U-boat situation. Like, to me, like the idea of them having like good times, and then like the Allies get sonar and everything's falling apart and so forth. I should really fucking watch Das Boot at some point. I like a lot of the Japanese stuff too. I have the typical nerd fascinated with Japanese bullshit. So I would totally weeb out on some of that nonsense as well. Here's Miss Hilder 90. Good morning. Let me see. Have we chatted before? Well, good. I need the company because we're trying to get through. This is a climactic chapter of the short story. So we're almost there. I should do World War II stuff whenever. Start a third World War? Yeah, I'm not really enough of a scholar to do any World War II stories. You really need to put in some research and read a lot of memoirs and so forth. I don't think I've ever written any historical fiction. Just because I don't have the historical background. I don't know. I could write something with like UFOs and Nazis. God, people would love that. I've been here once before. I think I came here during a raid, if I remember correctly. I like that their raids are so good natured in the Twitch writing community. They really are just people chilling and showing up on streams because they're bored. So let's see. Oh, this is a. I wish some of our people were here because I wanted them to see some of these things. But it's Sunday morning. That's just how the time worked out. I'm not taking a break from editing. If you really want to get your stories done, you got to do them every day. Before he could loose, the wolf turned tail and disappeared into the trees. As one, the 3 men started uphill to pursue. An inhuman scream wailed out of the woods and stopped them in their steps. Flinzer's small hairs stood. The shriek was like a rusted hinge, backed by the drone of a war horn. Oof. So people who live in the north already know what this is all about. But if you don't know, feel free to guess here. Did we hit it? Cocker asked. Another scream howled out, closer than the first. It was no wolf. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Each man drew his sword. The blade shuddered. Let's see. Okay, so I think lugging buttocks there is no bueno. All right. Another scream howled out, closer than the first. It was no wolf. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Blades flashed in the moonlight as each man shouldered his bow and drew his sword. What is it? Went called up from the river. They were still tugging buttocks across the ice. Okay, I like that. Keep pulling, Flinzer shouted back, but the roar drowned him out. We need a comma there between but. All right, there. I'm just going to award myself points for all of these. Good Lord. Just anyhow, if you are tuned in and bored out of your mind, you can get into the acknowledgments page of this book by just offering up an edit, like a comma that I miss or a word that's no good or just compliments on my hair. Any of that will get you. That actually doesn't work. But you can get into the book. Even a single edit, I'll put you in the acknowledgments page. So just keep your eye out. It is kind of a game. Keep pulling, Flinzer shouted back, but the roar drowned him out. Screams were all around them. Great shadows galloped between the shining aspen. For an idiot moment, Flinzer thought the entire forest had come alive. The shadows broke from the forest and thundered down the ridge. Stampede. Elk, Flinzer yelped. Pandemonium erupted. Droves of elk bounded over the crest and galloped down the slope, while the hunters scrambled for shelter. Pandemonium erupted. Droves of elk bounded over the crest and galloped down the slope as the hunters scrambled for shelter. 1,000 pound is hyphenated. 1,000 pound bull bugled and bore down on them. Flinzer dove and rolled, a hair ahead of the bull's antlers. Ooh. As he tried to find his feet, a hoof clubbed him in the back and knocked him windless. As he tried to find his feet, a hoof clubbed him in the back and knocked him prone. Flinzer crawled on. Flinzer crawled on and found Cocker cowering behind a boulder. 10 paces away, Stripes left from the path of a charging bull. Oh yeah, elks are scary. I've almost run into elks twice in my life with a bicycle. I don't think I've ever laid eyes on an elk or a moose in my life. Um, I should spend more. I was just in Montreal. I should spend like a little more time in Canada, so I could gander at them with my own. I'm sure I've seen them in a zoo, but yeah, man, the sound that they make is atrocious. It really is like a crazy Wendigo sound. Hold on, let's hear it on the stream. Oh. Oh, I don't think you can hear. Oh, you can't hear that. You might hear like a little of it. Where I come from in Norway, we see them every day. Oh, I want to go to Norway so bad. I have a story. I mean, it's not the same thing, obviously, but I have a story written about a family from Scandinavia, but they're Finnish. So and there's a lot of stuff in the story about what is it? What is it, salmiakki or whatever? That spicy licorice that they like. Oh, we can't stand it. And they make those Christmas cookies. What are they called? Like the cross shaped cookies with like a little fruit in the center. And what other? She has a like a Finnish rifle, and I guess the mother in that story was like an interrogator in the Finnish army. Once I came late to school because there was an elk outside my door that would not leave. My dad threw a shoe at it and it didn't leave. Yeah, I mean, it's not like you can go over there and punch, like sock it in the snout. Those things are big. Um, they don't. Wait, do they have moose in Norway? I think they do. Oh no, moose are only in America. So we have this thing. Yeah, yeah. Let's look at the size between moose and elk. So they're pretty big, but yeah, we have these goofy looking moose over here. So moose can get like three. They do like, I don't understand why people love licorice so much over there, but yeah, here. So here we can see a size comparison. Oh wait, that's the Irish elk, the from the period before time where they had these giant antlers. But yeah, you can see here that they have moose in wherever. Hold on, this thing lied to me. Let me see. But those are supposed to just be. Oh yeah, here's the actual range there. Okay, cool. Oh, you were talking about moose and not elk. Okay, yeah. So, um, they look kind of similar. And but like yeah, when you were talking about like an elk hanging out at your door and refusing to leave, like I, my understanding is that elk would probably not do that, but like a moose definitely would. They can be assholes. They're so big. Elk versus moose versus caribou. Here, let's look at the differences between them. Yeah, so here's what I would call elk right there. And then here's the caribou. They have white necks. Elk like to bugle. Yeah. How they like to hang out. They're pack animals. Where can you see them in the U.S.? Where's the moose? All right. Anyhow, it's an aside, but like I like that this story is set in. Oh yeah, they're so big. There's like a cool video of a moose just charging past these skiers, and it's like a freight train just blasting through the snow that's like 4 feet deep, and it just doesn't care. It's just an incredibly like you could just see where if you were one of the people and you got run over by it, you would just be dead and in hell instantly. Whoa. All right, hold on. I want to see that video. Yeah, it's this video. Trap moose. This one right here. This right here. Look at this guy coming.
Ah, il y a quelqu'un en arrière. Thomas, il capoterait.
Look at it go. Oh my god. It just doesn't give. Look how deep that is. Oh lord. Yeah, man. That's wild. That can mess you up really bad too. Um, let me see. All right. 10 paces away, Stripes left clear of a charging bull, but was trampled by a doe. He fell still on the frozen slope. I'd like run over a little bit there. I have to sing when I go out in the forest because moose have such poor eyesight. They don't want to get over. Oh man, yeah, that's crazy. Like, how come I'm not like singing to moose in a forest in Norway right now? It's wild. Although, like, all my friends who are like Scandinavian, like when it gets into the deep winter and so forth, they get so bummed out all the time. There's not enough sun, man. Oh, we were just talking about one of our friends right now who just got out of. Oh, and when I go places, there are bears. What kind of bears they got over there? Are they? They're not. They wouldn't be polar bears up there. I guess they'd just be brown bears. Yeah, let's see what bears they got in Norway. Two species of bear. The polar bear is only in Svalbard. They just got brown bears. Okay. Brown bears in Norway, are they dangerous? Yes. Let's see. Russia has like 50%. I've seen a ton of brown bears. Um, Scandinavian population is especially shy and scared of humans because y'all kept eating them for generations and generations. Oh, look at these guys. Here, check out what we got in the U.S. Yeah, look at these characters. All right, so there's black bears are what I'm most familiar with over here. They're like a little bit dangerous, but they mostly like get into garbage and get up in campsites and so forth. And then here's our brown bear at about 7 feet. And then grizzly bears are like another foot taller. And then polar bears are just one of the only animals that just hunts humans for sport. They like eating us. So yeah, they're crazy. You can't fool around with these characters. Well, look at this image. Oh, they're so big. Polar bears. And then there's the Kodiak bears, where they just eat so much salmon that go out. I guess here's I didn't realize they had Kamchatka bears. And then here's the grizzly bear. Terrifying bear. I don't know. I've never eaten anybody on purpose. Let me see here. Without words, Flinzer and Cocker sprang from the scant safety of the rocks and went after him. Without words, Flinzer and Cocker sprang from behind the boulder and went after him. Cool. I like that his friends like immediately just jump out from behind their shelter and try to grab him. Flinzer grabs Stripe's arms. Cocker went for the legs, but a huge bull dipped its head and hooked his backpack with an antler point. The charger whipped the grown man aside like a gnat. Cocker landed on his back with an audible snap, but seemed unhurt. Cool. All right. Okay. Without words, Flinzer and Cocker sprang from behind the boulder and charged into the stampede. Charged heedlessly into the stampede. I have to have heedless stampede. Without words, Flinzer and Cocker sprang from behind the boulder to retrieve him, heedless of the stampede. That's better. Flinzer grabbed Stripe's arms. Cocker went for the legs, but a huge bull dipped its head and hooked his backpack with an antler point. The charger whipped the grown man aside like a gnat. Cocker landed on his back with an audible snap. Sprang back up and scrambled over. Together, they dragged Stripes behind the boulder. They huddled over him as the herd blasted past. The air churned into a soup of dust and musk. Their bones hoofbeats threatened to rattle their bones apart. Flinzer fully expected to be buried under the living avalanche. You all right? Flinzer shouted above the roar. What broke? He shook Cocker's arm. Okay, cool. So here, I'm just trying to speed up a little bit some of the narrative, take out the places where like readers have to think. Yeah, this is meant to be like a fast-flowing action sequence, and I think it could probably use like another pass before publication. This is, I think I'm going to send this out to an editor before we publish it. But yeah, this could be cleaned up a little bit. Let's see. And then we lost a, let's see. Okay. Have you published anything before? Yes, I have 6 books in print right now. Um, I think at the top of the screen it has my webpage there. So feel free to gander there. And if there is any story that you want, I will tell you how you can get it for free on the webpage, which I get offered to anybody who is participating in these live streams. Uh, let's see. I don't see where I think I deleted the stabbed part there. Yeah. So I write mainly fantasy and science fiction. Um, let's see. This piece is mostly humorous. And my other book, The Master Arcanist, are both like kind of in a humorous fantasy type thing, where it's not too serious, but it's still like a fun adventure. Xanon Inc. is like a dark erotic fantasy. Woo! This is my first novel. And then Survival Mode is just like a fast Robinsonade with a man marooned on an alien world, has to engineer a way to survive. Hawks at the Diner and The Right to Bear Arms are both very short, near future stories. Hawks at the Diner is about the first female president of the United States. What do we got there? And then Zeros, my new one, is military science fiction. And it is about a convict being trained to fly a suicide mission. Oof. So yeah, I just love writing books and stuff. This is a short story. It's only about 16,000 words, and it is going to be done today or tomorrow. All right. Flinzer couldn't tell. Flinzer couldn't tell if his own ribs were bruised or cracked. He'd been struck close to the spine. Worried, he curled his toes. They were numb. I wonder why Peter is a verb. Let me take a look. You got Peter, saltpeter, measuring out saltpeter. Compare the use of other men's name as a slang term for the penis. Dick, Willie, John Thomas. uh, so Peter is UK slang for a safe. The verb, let's see, chiefly followed out, originally mining, a vein of ore to be depleted of ore, to diminish to nothing. This is what I want to find out. Originally used independently, but today, most often in the derived phrase, peter out. So where did it come from? Intransitive, originally from the U.S., a vein of ore. Because what I was kind of wondering is if, like, when something peters out, if they just start finding, like, a lot of saltpeter because the mine is done. Oh, from the French péter, to explode, break wind, or fart, from saltpeter. Here, let's take a look. The etymology of Peter is unknown. The following have been suggested: from Peter, to stop doing or saying something. From to explode, break wind, or fart, or from saltpeter, the key ingredient, and gunpowder. All right, so they don't know the etymology. It's a bummer. I wanted to know, but only God can know it all. And even there, like the idea of omniscience actually working, that's hard to deal with, man. I can't. I struggle to like think of even like a limited omniscience. I just need to upgrade my RAM to where I can get it. Oh, there's the stab that you saw. Okay, let's take a look. He hoped it was just the cold. The stampede petered until a few stragglers chased after the herd. Oh shit! The river! Flinzer shot to his feet and regretted it once. It felt as if he'd been stabbed. Oh, been stabbed. Oh, there you go. You get your point. All right, so that is Ms. Hilder 90. 1 point. And then let's give you a color all your own. You can have this tasteful green. Okay. Let's see. Down in the. Okay. Oh shit, the river. Flinzer shot to his feet and regretted it once. He felt like he'd been stabbed in the back. Down in the dust, the herd surged across White Bite Run. The thin ice would shattered beneath. The thin ice had shattered beneath the hooves of the stampede. Undeterred, the elk swam across. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, you're in there. If you manage to get before this story ends, um, just 26 more edits, you will win, and then we will send you the coveted. I coveted so much I can't even find it. The coveted editing ace baseball cap. Oh, you could win this hat, which I send out to people. Whoever gets the most edits in like a novel, I send them that hat. I really do. And then everybody who is in the book, also, if you just follow along here, when we publish this, I will send you a signed copy and my sincere thanks. If the stream ever gets big, I have to stop doing that. I can't send out like 100 copies, but my English is not good enough to see small mistakes. Well, I mean, you saw that one, you know. Um, yeah, it's also the other valuable thing that non-native English speakers can tell you is where things are like particularly idiomatic, where they're like so ingrained in me that I can't even see. The perspective of a non-native English speaker is actually super valuable. Like I've had like a bunch of my stories written by somebody where English or read by somebody where English is like their third or fourth language, and they have given me like super valuable feedback about things that I kind of take for granted, idioms and colloquialisms and like uses of words. Often, like I'll dive into it and I've used the word wrong, and it's just What have you. All right, anyhow, let's get back to it. Flinzer shot to his feet and regretted it once. He felt like he'd been stabbed in the back. Down in the dust, the herd surged across White Bite Run. The thin ice had shattered beneath the hooves of the stampede. All right, so run is capitalized there, too. All right. Undeterred. Let's see. Undeterred, the elk swam across and bounded up onto the opposite bank. Flinzer's eyes darted in the low light, looking for his men. Two men lay on the riverbank in the north. Oh, yeah, I did. So earlier in the chapter, I talked about the confusion between north, east, and west. Two men were flattened into the riverbank. Oh, flattened is too much. Two men were trampled might be overused. Yeah, let's use trample. Okay, cool. So there we go. Ives, Ames, went, buttocks. Flinzer called over the roar of the retreating herd. Two men were trampled into the riverbank. Ames covered Ives with his body. For a moment, Flinzer feared they were both dead, but Ames began to stir. Flinzer glanced back at the boulder. Cocker was wide-eyed. Stripes was still out. All right, that's a comma slice. In the hills above, the silver wolf howled again. Another howl sounded from the west, then one from the south. Surrounded by wolves. Help! Went wailed. It's too loud for... It's early in the morning here. Help! Went wailed. He still had hold of the rope. Went still had hold of the rope, but he was in danger of being dragged off his feet. Flinzer flew to him, though every step felt like a blade in his back. Let's see. All right, hold on. Stop. Stretch. Oh no, we're losing more words. See, the story is shrinking as we're editing it, rather than gaining the words that I had hoped that it would. Alas. Let me see. What's going on? In that JRE? Nothing. Anything going on in LRH? Nothing. Let me see. I could potentially multi-stream on Streamlabs. Was 20. All right. Nothing of consequence. Went was unhurt and still had hold of the rope. He was in danger of being dragged off his feet. Flinzer flew to him, though every step felt like a blade in his back. The rope disappeared into the swirling black rapid. Would they be swirling black rapids? They could be swirling, they could be frothing. Yeah, they would be like a froth at this point. The rope disappeared into the frothing black rapids. Buttocks was under the ice. Flinzer grabbed the line and pulled with Went. There was no give. It felt like they were trying to haul up an anchor. Cocker, Flinzer screamed. Cocker was already running. Together, the three men heaved at the rope with all their strength. It wasn't enough. Ives and Ames were up on their feet, limping their way over. Rope's caught. Give it slack. They played out the line and tugged again. The wolves, all right. They played out the line and tugged again, hard as they could. The line of men fell backward. The rope broke. The wolves howled again. Oh yeah, this is too like bup up bup up bup up. Mm-hmm. Oh, what up there? So we got me name Jeffrey Sun 3.0. Yes, hello. Welcome to the stream. We are working on editing. We're day 7. We're on page 58 of 72 of a fantasy story about 3 men, or 7 men, uh, chasing down a bounty on a legendary outlaw named Three Wolf. And we are at the climax of this story. So you're just in time. Uh, so, yeah, if it seems a little clumsy, I'm concentrating hard here. It's hard to think and talk at the same time. Yeah, I actually think that this story is super cool. We put a lot of good work into it here. You can see all the edits. I keep track of everybody who submits an edit, by the way. They each get a point for each one that is it. You can see all the edits here that people have put in over the course of the 7 days we've been working on the stream. And I've put in, generally, I make like about 10 edits for every one that a viewer puts in there. So we've made a lot of changes to the manuscript before. I really should do like a before and after of each manuscript so that viewers can look at it and see what we changed and why. Um, yeah, I just do this because I hate editing alone. It's just super boring. And when people are like watching and commenting and stuff like that, it feels like way more fun. So it is difficult to have your mind like on a chat screen and then on the thing and then narrate the whole thing. But reading as you are editing is fantastic. It really, really does. My theory is that it engages a different part of the mind than just writing, where you're not sub vocalizing, where you're just directly writing. Um, Forcing yourself to like speak out each line really brings to your ear a lot of errors and just awkward phrases and so forth. So it's been a big part of my editing technique for the last 4 books that we've edited. Oh, yeah. I mean, especially if you're editing your own material, which is I rarely edit, but I write poetry, so it's a bit different. Well, I would say that poetry needs more editing than writing. You know, it's so difficult to get a feel for what other people are going to take away from a piece, right? And poetry is like so ephemeral and so difficult to like convey something with like a few words in a line. I would say like the process of having others give feedback and so forth is more important than writing. But they're both like a critical part of the process, in my opinion. Before you edit it, a story is only half as good as it could be, and I don't do enough poetry to really comment there, but I would assume that it's the same. Lord, all right, let me try to get through this. They played outline and strained with all their strength. Flinzer felt movement, then the line suddenly went slack. Mm-hmm. When I wrote poems, I edited them a lot since I felt like the weight of the words are so important in shorter forms of writing. Yeah, like it's hard to get things across. Like if you work on like a rap or a song or what have you, you just do so many more passes trying to like cut out the fluff than I do with writing. With writing, because it's so long, the most I can really do is like about 7 edits of one particular piece, and then after that, is done. But I know that there are people who will just spend like an entire month working on like a song that just has, maybe 100 total words. Um, some of them just fell out of me perfect. Well, like I'm not gonna argue with serendipity. What a fool I would be. All right, there we go. I want to have like the rope broke, but the broken rope hung limp in his hand. The wolves howled again, closer. All right. The men were ashen faced in the moonlight. No one knew what to do. All right. All right. The wolves howled again, closer. The men looked at each other, ashen faced in the moonlight. No one knew what to do. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Okay, cool. Oh, I don't think that you can have an M dash and then a comma. All right, hold on, let's find out. Use an M dash to set off a positives. What is in a positive? Ugh. No. I don't think that they bring focus to a list. Mark sharp turns in thought. Okay. M dash versus N dash. N dashes to indicate number ranges. Yeah, end of dialogue comment. That's what I want. All right, this is how to punctuate okay. Interrupted, faulted. If the dialogue is abruptly interrupted by another speaker or event, use an M dash with no spaces between the final word and the quotation mark. Start a new line for the interruption. Yeah. I have had so it's I think it may be like one of those MLA Chicago manual style things. It looks wait, the trailing if the dialogue trails off or contains use an ellipsis. There should be a space between the ellipsis and neighboring words or punctuation, but not between the ellipsis and the punctuation marks. Okay, that looks different to me. If the dialogue has stuttering within a word, while not a concrete rule, Chicago favors not capitalizing the repeated portions of the word. I don't usually like stuttering in dialogue at all. This is pretty decent for me. I don't know if this person is right, but it just feels wrong to me to have a comma. Yeah, I know for a fact that like my editors have. Yeah. Oh, that looks wrong too. Uh, see, it's a spot where I just think, Linzer, Crocker cautioned. Linzer ignored him. Oh yeah, it doesn't work. All right, cool. Oh, there's number 13th. Welcome back there. Yeah, we're chugging along here. We're at page 58 of 72. I can make some tea and then probably venture through and finish this guy if I really felt like it. No one knew what to do. Damn it. Linzer cursed as he reeled up the broken line. The wet jute began to harden and freeze as he tied it around his waist. Linzer, Cocker cautioned. Linzer ignored him and tied a clumsy bowline knot. He still had his gloves on. Linzer, he's gone, Wint urged. He put a hand on Linzer's elbow. Cocker's hand tightened on his other arm. Hold him, Cocker ordered. Flinzer wrenched out of his grip and glared at his men. I'm going after him, Flinzer hissed. I'm going after him, Flinzer snarled, trying to stoke fury into courage. Cocker tried to tell him different, but he didn't have the will. I think I'm gonna go through the story and remove all expletives. By the way, so this is like a little bit more family. I think we just use fuck like 2 or 3 times in here, and they don't need to be there. This can be That like kind of prim and proper. I always talk about this because I was so struck by it. But like the sort of the prim and proper language in the movie True Grit is one that I think it was a Coen Brothers movie. But all the characters there talk very properly in this like antiquated, nobody ever talked that way kind of way, and it just really struck me um, how cool it made the movie. It's a great western if you ever want to see one. It's about I think a girl who is trying to get her father's body or some crazy thing like that. But it was wild. Let me see. I'm going after him, Flinzer snarled, trying to stoke fury into courage. Cocker wanted to fight back, but he didn't have the will. Before the others could stop him, Flinzer climbed down the riverbank. Hold the damn rope, Flinzer called back. Stiff-shouldered and jelly-legged. All right, so if stiff-shouldered is hyphenated, why isn't jelly-legged? Stiff-shouldered and jelly-legged, he loped onto the ice. His breath came in shallow stabs. His heart ached from racing, and he wasn't even in the drink yet. Weak ice creaked underfoot. Black water gurgled ahead in the breach. Flinzer tried to move forward, but his traitor legs refused to carry him another step. Flinzer! Went screamed. Flinzer refused to look back. He was certain he'd break and run. More voices joined. It was a warning. More voices joined in warning. A huge shadow swept down the opposite bank. A great white death. She tried to get revenge on the man that killed her father. Oh yeah, how was the book? I did not know that it was a book, so I've only seen the movie. But that makes more sense. I couldn't remember. I think I was confusing two books. One where they dug up the body or some jazz like that. Whew. But yeah, like a really capital story. Creepy ending, by the way. I thought that something entirely different happened in that ending sequence for like a long time. Um, is it Jeff Bridges that's in that? Whoever it is, they are superb. Hold on, let's see. Yes, it's a Coen Brothers thing. Jeff Bridges, yeah. The book was okay. I did not enjoy it that much, but different tastes and all that. Well, if you don't like westerns in general, True Grit is just great, though. Yeah, Jeff Bridges, 10 out of 10. Superb performance. Nominated for Oscars, 38 wins. Oh, yeah. Haley Steinfeld or whatever. A stubborn teenager enlists the help of a tough U.S. Marshal to track down her father's murderer. Hmm. Oh, yeah. And then Matt Damon as LaBouffe. Let me see. I wonder where. All right, let's get the top. Let's get the top 10 westerns of all time. All right, so Collider has this thing here. Let's see what is there, and I'll see if I agree with their. True Grit is number 15. All right, at least it made the list. Let me see. I might try the book. I just read Civil War 3. 310 to Yuma. The 2007. It's a remake of an older movie. I think I saw the original. Magnificent Seven. I haven't seen this one. I have not seen Stagecoach either, which I think is like a John Wayne. Fistful of Dollars I have seen. It's a pretty good trilogy. The Searchers, I haven't seen that either. With old John Wayne. High Noon is really good. It's super solid. The Wild Bunch I have not seen. Oh shit, I could just go on a Western. Oh look, it's got Jugs. Rio Bravo, also haven't seen with old Johnny Wayne. A lot of John Wayne on here. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is just superb. Really, really good movie. Definitely deserves to be on this list. I didn't see The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Django Unchained is rated way too highly here. Django Unchained is like a top 50 movie to me, and I'm a big Tarantino fan. I just didn't think it was that great. It was too blaxploitation for me. The Unforgiven is good. Maybe not this good. Maybe not number 3 good. Once Upon a Time in the West, I have not seen, and then The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is number 1. This list is bullshit. Tombstone's not even on here. Tombstone's the greatest Western of all time, by far. It's not. The others aren't even close. All right, so this guy likes a lot of old stuff that I haven't seen. All right, let's see if there is a better list. Best Western movies of all time ranked. All right, let's look at top 10 Westerns. This is God. Shut up, Guardian. I wanted to see this one. I haven't seen Rancho Notorious. I wanted to see The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford. Red River is another John Wayne one. High Noon is going to be on all these lists. Unforgiven deserves to be there, right? I haven't seen Mr. McCabe and Mrs. Miller. There's Butch. The Searchers comes up in a bunch. The Wild Bunch. And then Once Upon a Time in the West. Marxist revisionist Western. What in the world? Oh, Charles Bronson's in that one? All right. Anyhow, let's get back to editing. I need to like write up my own Western tier list at some point because these lists are horseshit. Like these are not the greatest Westerns of all time. I disagree heartily with these people. Flinzer refused to. Flinzer wouldn't look back. He was certain he'd break and run. More voices joined in warning. Flinzer saw. A great white death stood upon the ice. Blue eyes blazed in the moonlight. A wild black mane of. A great white death stood upon the ice. Blue eyes blazed in the moonlight. A wild black mane spilled from beneath a white bearskin hood. It was a giant, near 9 feet tall. Three Wolf. The men stood, frozen by fear. With haste, Three Wolf threw off his heavy white coat and tugged off his boots. He ran across White Bite Run, naked to the waist. Flinzer scrambled back for his sword. They could hear. Okay. Let me see. Flintier? Oh, Lord. Flinzer and his men froze with fear. Flinzer and his men froze with fear as Threewolf threw off his heavy white coat and tugged off his boots. All right, so we're just going to forget about Stripes here. We have changed him up from being out of it to being just directly unconscious in this edit here, because he has, I believe, a significant concussion at the end of the story. Let me make sure nobody has messaged me. Cool. Flinzer skittered back across the ice and scrambled for his sword belt. Went and Ives readied arrows. Cocker and Flinzer drew swords. A shadow moved beneath the ice, downstream from their position. All right, this is not stellar. Okay. Yeah, this action needed a lot of rewriting right here. How long have I been at it? 6:51. When did we start this? Let's see. At 4:40. Oh, so just like about 2 hours ago. 2 hours is about how much I edit every morning, honestly. That's all I got in the tank, sadly. I need to pump it up to like 3 hours. But yeah, I really feel it when we do editing for 3 hours. My voice is shot. I think 2 is the bare minimum for me to feel like I'm taking advantage of my life and doing what I'm supposed to. All right, cool. As they watched, Three Wolf lifted the big man by one leg and thwacked him on the back like a newborn babe. Bloodocks began to choke and spit up river water. Three Wolf laid him down and turned back at Flinzer and his men. And turned back to the bounty hunters. His eyes caught the moon and glowed. They dared not approach. You fools, go home, Three Wolf said. I don't think this is a place to lower your bows. Lower your bows, Flinzer ordered Went to Knives. Their shafts would barely sting the giant. What are you? Flinzer found the courage to ask. I am tired, Three Wolf said. I warn you, but you do not listen. His accent was thick and archaic. I warn you, but you do not listen. Here is your bounty, if you want it. He thumped a hand against the frost on his chest. Three Wolf thumped the hand against the sheen of frost on his chest, and the note rang in the night. He was solid as stone. Flinzer could see many sets of eyes, watching from the trees. They should never have come here. We'll go. I'm sorry, Flinzer pleaded. Okay, cool. Let's see. Making good progress on this chapter, actually. I feel much less foggy than I did on Ye Olden Sunday. Okay, cool. More TCP Direct Stam. Let's see. Nothing on Discord. And Warm Him Soon. Oh, did you get another edit? Damn. Oh, it says Warm Him Soon. Or he will die. Yeah, this does the right thing. We'll go. I'm sorry, Flinzer pleaded. Tell the others. All the men like you. Spread the word across the land. Spread word across the land. I am sick of this slaughter. Whatever Moraine offers, all they will ever collect is death. This is the last of my kindness. Warm him soon, or he will die. Okay. Yep. No, it's hard to see. I don't know how big the word. That's why I make the word so giant on the screen, so you can like reach out and edit something. Shake, shake, shake. Oh, wish I had a bigger. If I move to like a new studio, my green screen wall is going to be like 80 feet long and 20 feet high in a warehouse that I will somehow afford. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, okay, so cool. You were saying that you thought it was about Moraine, not Bloodux. But what's great is that while you were saying that, I was already like editing for clarity. Three Wolf motioned to Bloodux at his feet. Warm him soon, or he will die. Bloodux's teeth chattered like mad. It's weird to have the Indeed, Bloodux's teeth chattered like mad. Three Wolf stepped back into the river and disappeared. No one moved until he climbed up onto the opposite bank. Then they flew into action at once. Went and Ives rushed up to tent their cloaks over Bloodux. Then Went and Ives rushed up to tent their cloaks over Bloodux. Flinzer watched their quarry shake himself off and don his furred boots and bearskin coat. As Three Wolf put up his hood, he drew back his head and let out an explosive sneeze. He shook his... The giant shook his head after and grumbled as he disappeared into the trees. We better get a fire going quick, Flinzer ordered. He looked across the river. All the wood they'd collected earlier was piled there on the wrong side of the course. Okay, we better get a fire going quick, Flinzer ordered. He looked across the river. All the wood they'd chopped was on the wrong side. Three Wolf was gone. It was over. They lost. Mm. So yeah, they went all this way to face down with Three Wolf, and then they chickened out when they actually they didn't fight him. He was too big, and they just fuck it, I'm out. Essentially, they just got run over by a bunch of elk. A guy fell into the river and froze. Three Wolf dragged Bloodaxe out of the river. Bloodaxe is just a punching bag this entire story. And he never gets to use his axe or his strength or anything except to chop wood. And then they just leave him there. So all that remains of this story is the conclusion, which is I always do this. I like try to read the first paragraph of the other one. Yeah. So the I like that it's a bounty hunting story where they just take a look at what they're after and they're like, and they just bail after all this, which is a little bit like a letdown of the dramatic tension. You expect to see a sword fight between these guys. You expect to see like a bunch of people die and so forth. And this is just them going all this way and thinking better of it after their brush with death. So I like that a lot. So the next chapter is going to say, the blizzard hit halfway back. Flinzer's flock of fools stumbled into Sunnyside, snow-blind and half-frozen. The bounty was lost, but defeat brought her own consolations. Lillian met the empty-handed losers with open arms and glee burning on her cheeks. She fixed them a feast of pancakes, stoked an enormous fire, and put them all in rooms without a word of payment. The season was finished anyway. Flinzer's ribs were only bruised, which was a blessing. He had no time to heal that night or the morning after. It was as if they were young again. All right, cool. So tomorrow we're going to get into that chapter and finish this guy off. And you can see the conclusion of Three Wolf. So it's going to be an 8-day edit. 8 days for 72 pages. That's not too bad. So yeah, thank you for being with me on this Sunday morning. We have indeed completed our 2 hours of editing. And now I can do nothing all day except play video games and goof around with effects pedals. All right, so thank you for taking part of this. Miss Hilder90 right there. Hope you have a blast out there in Norway. I wish I was out there, to tell you the truth. I would love to just be among the trees and leaves and chilling. But at some point, I want to go to Norway and Finland and just skip Sweden entirely. There's nothing useful there. It's like a sandwich made of nothing. No, I'm kidding. I'll go to Sweden too. I want to go to Denmark as well. I haven't been to many of the Nordic countries. All right, so fare thee well, and good luck tomorrow. And hopefully this was useful in some way. Good luck on your own projects. I'm going to go. I'll see you later.